Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the February edition of the Mayor's Monthly Video. Today I'm going to be a little bit redundant. I'm going to basically give you the presentation, a preview of the presentation that I'm going to give next week at a chamber luncheon where all of the municipalities in Shelby County, their mayors, will be giving a state of their community presentation. And so I'm going to show you my presentation. I've got 8 minutes to do it in, so I'm going to run through it pretty quickly. So you're kind of a guinea pig for me, but there's some information that I gave you a quick snapshot of last month. I've updated it a little bit and I've added some new stuff that I think you'll be interested in. So I'll move on right into it. Okay, overview, I'm going to talk about growth and economic development in Columbiana. I'm going to talk about basically our financial status real quickly there, infrastructure projects that we've got going on, public safety, recreation in schools, and future development. And I thought it would be interesting, since all of the mayors are in their last year of their current terms, that we take a look at basically what's happened over the current administration in Columbiana from fiscal year 21 to today. So moving right on into it, we're going to start with growth and economic development. So what I'm showing you here is a chart that has the population growth of the City of Columbiana since 1980 up to 2025. The latest estimate for fiscal year 25 for Columbiana is that our population is 5,004 people. Our 2020 census had our population count at 4,462 people. So since then, that's been about a 2.4% annual growth rate. That's not too bad. If you look at this chart, you'll see that we peaked out at one point in 2017, and then we had a decline in population from 2017 to 2021, and then it's been going uphill since then. These are all estimates if you look at that chart beyond 2020 census. So, they could change, but pretty much everybody's got us around the 5,000 population mark. If you were to do a best fit trend line, and put it on there, it would probably show a little bit less than that, but still we're pretty close to 5,000. So growth rate is certainly manageable, and I think it's positive for the City of Columbiana. Okay, so now let's take a look at our finances and our revenue. Our sales tax revenues increased 44% over the last 4 years. And by comparison, inflation's been about 16.4%, so total. So that means that we're keeping ahead of inflation, and that's due to, I think, some good business growth in the City of Columbiana. Our business license revenue, another measure of how well we're doing as far as business growth, has increased 250%. That's about 25.7% compound annual growth rate. And then our building permits have increased 307%. That's about 32.4% compound annual growth rate. So I think all of these are good, positive trends for the City of Columbiana, and shows it's good things are going on here. All right. I wanted to also talk about how the face of Main Street has changed during the term of the current administration. 75% of the businesses that you can see in this little collage here on Main Street are new businesses. And I think that's a good thing, because these businesses have been a positive impact on the way Main Street looks. You've got new owners, you've got new tenants. They've really spruced Main Street up, and these are also very viable businesses. So really good things have gone on Main Street during this administration. Okay, so now let's take a look at our financial data. You can see I've got an asterisk by the 2024 general fund surplus being 5.5 months expenses. And the reason I did that is because we had some grant money in that had not been spent yet. The projects hadn't actually been started. And we also, in our budget, we had some projects that were dependent upon, to some degree, some portion of them were dependent upon receipt of grant funding. Fortunately, we got that grant funding, but we got it late in the year, so we couldn't start them in 2024. So we had sort of this excess surplus, if you will. Now, going into 2025, we've got a lot of grant funding in our budget, and about a third of our entire revenue in our budget comes from grant funding in 2025. So I got a little question for you here. I put a picture of a snapshot of the one page of our monthly budget report for the general fund in 2024, my question would be, okay, what was our total general fund surplus in 2024? Give you a few minutes to think about that. And that's good enough. We'll go on. And the answer is you can't find it on that chart because that chart's several pages long. And it wasn't on that little page that I set there, and the print was too small, and I know you couldn't read it. But it was about $3.3 million was the general fund surplus. How we budget for it, too, is on a cash basis, and not everything that's in our monthly budget report reflects that. So monthly budget report would have a slightly different number than our cash basis budget surplus. Okay, let's talk about infrastructure. We have resurfaced over the past several years 40% of the streets and roads in the city limits of Columbiana. That puts us on a rate of resurfacing all the streets and roads in about 12 years. Engineers tell us to plan on 15 to 20 years useful life for these streets and roads. So if we keep this rate up, I think our streets and roads are going to be in pretty good shape. Coincidentally, this includes county and state highways, and they have also resurfaced about 40% of the county and state roads which are in the city limits of Columbiana. We awarded a contract in 2024. We should hopefully get it finished in 2025. Storm drainage project. These pictures show you why we are doing that storm drainage project. We're using ARPA funds to finance it, if you will, and basically we will be doing some new sewage drops, putting in a new 24-inch storm drainage sewer along Main Street, or College Street, if you will, and then also we'll be replacing that culvert, which is inadequate and has been causing the backup and the flooding there on Depot Street. So looking forward to those improvements. We've also begun work on a 2-year project to upgrade our sewer treatment plant. You can see that project is well underway. It's about a $15 million project, and we're about $1.7 million into that. So we're moving along pretty nicely as far as that's concerned. Okay, the last thing on the infrastructure is our new public works facility. At the top of this collage here, you can see the new facility. It's not yet completed, but we will be moving into it this year. We've got to get the paving done around the facility. We've got to add some electricity to it, and once we do that, we will move into it on the south side, which is the left side of this photograph. That will be a vehicle and equipment maintenance shop. You're going to have most of the space will be warehouse and storage space, and there'll be an office space on the inside. We will construct the interior office space ourselves. It'll be a self-help project, if you will. But that 30,000 square foot facility is going to replace the 3,600 square foot warehouse that we have in the alley behind the west side of Main Street, between Main Street and Old Mill Square, which you see two sides of it in the middle section of this collage. And it'll also replace the office space that's about 6,000 square feet and storage space that we have in Dr. Phillips' old clinic there by the senior center, and also allow us to clean up what has basically become a junkyard behind City Hall. So looking forward to getting moved into that new facility this year. Okay, let's look at public safety. Start with the fire department. Over the last couple of years, we've received a SAFER and AFG grant. SAFER is staffing for adequate fire and emergency response, allowing us to recruit and retain volunteer firefighters. AFG stands for Assistance to Firefighter Grants. We just recently received about a $780,000 grant last year to buy these in this photograph, these self-contained breathing apparatus, absolutely essential for the safety of our firefighters. They have a shelf life. We collaborated with Wilsonville and Kingdom volunteer fire departments. Columbiana is going to get about 60% of the funding and the apparatus that it purchased, and Kingdom and Wilsonville will split the remaining 40% of those. We also increased our EMS funding by 21%. Now, we don't have our own EMS as part of the fire department. We use Southeast Shelby Emergency Medical, and we give them a facility for their vehicles and office space, and then we also provide them appropriate money to help fund that service. Fire department, emergency, they do respond occasionally, but they cannot transport anybody to the hospital. We need Southeast Shelby to be able to do that for us. Okay, on the police side, we got a COPS grant, which gave us some funding to increase our staffing. And we were also made a commitment a couple of years ago to increase our school resource officers from the one floater that we had to having full-time resource officers at all the 4 campuses in Columbiana. Now, our school resource officer floater was actually Lieutenant Sasha Knight, and you can see in this picture she's third from the left, standing next to Attorney General Steve Marshall, and who presented this Safe Schools grant. Sasha basically was the only game in town, rotating between all the different schools. Now she has a full staff of school resource officers, and she headed up this program, and she initiated it, and she runs it, and she does a fabulous job. But this award that Elvin Hill got was not really a Columbiana Police Department, an SRO award. It was a school award. So it was a collaboration between Elvin Hill Elementary School, collaboration between the county school board, the City of Columbiana, state and other county agencies and law enforcement. And the school did a great job putting it together, and you can see the folks here who were instrumental in this thing as they got the award presented by Attorney General Marshall on February the 3rd. So congratulations to Elvin Hill for the great job that they've done in keeping our schools and our kids safe. Okay, recreation, and I put schools in here too. Pickleball courts and tennis courts. We've done the pickleball courts, tennis courts. We've been waiting on weather to finish those up. Been a great addition, and they're getting well used. We also did some rec center upgrades, new flooring, new heating and air conditioning system. We have completed relighting of the softball fields at Lewis and Bolton Field, and you can see the lights behind the pickleball courts in this photograph. And we also have a project coming up this year, hopefully starting next month, to do the lighting at the 4 fields at baseball fields at the Columbiana Sports Complex. We also received some grant funding from the county to upgrade the playground equipment at Kiwanis Park. And then we have, the City Council has increased its appropriations to the schools in the City of Columbiana by 88% over the last 4 years. So we're glad that we've been able to do that and help our schools out. All right, so what's going on in the future? We just put in an application for a 2025 RAISE grant. New administration came in. They changed the acronym from RAISE to BUILD. I'm not sure I could tell you what they mean, but the bottom line is it's pretty much the same grant. Basically, it's to improve Highway 70 from Walton Street. You can see on the little diagram at the bottom in the picture here to increase the number of lanes, to add turning lanes, to put greenway medians, pedestrian sidewalks and bike paths, potentially incorporate a walking and biking trail from the housing complexes at Saddlewood Trails to the Columbiana Sports Complex, improve pedestrian safety with crosswalks. And you can see the pictures of the drainage problems that we have at Town Creek Apartments. Going to add a new culvert and try to work on that, basically across from the County Highway Department shop. And the estimated cost of this is $25 million. Now, we don't have this grant yet. I'm sure it's going to be highly competitive. I'm very pleased with the application that was put in, and I'm very pleased with the assistance that we got from our federal congressional delegation, Senator Tuberville, Britt, Congressman Palmer, our state legislators, Representative Corley Ellis, and State Senator Lance Bell. We got a wonderful letter of support from Governor Ivey, as well as Director Cooper from Alabama Department of Transportation. This has been added to the state transportation infrastructure plan or improvement plan. and really excited. So hopefully with all these people getting behind us and a good application, we'll be competitive and be able to get that grant. And it builds off of a study that was conducted or actually completed in 2021 that was led by the Regional Planning Commission of Greater Birmingham and Shelby County. And it just went from Walton Street to McDowell Road. So what we've done is we've basically extended that project out to County Road 26. And now some new businesses that may be coming to Columbiana in the very near future. I can't tell you exactly who it is. It's sort of a business secret, if you will, right now. But I have been told I can tell you this. First thing, if you look at the top right of this picture, this is a retail facility planned for an agricultural retailer. It's a 22,000 square foot store. We've got about a similar amount of outdoor space. The indoor space is 22,000 square feet, and all the associated parking. That will be off of Highway 70 as well. And then on Industrial Boulevard, an industrial facility that will replace and tear down and replace the old Greedy Foundry. Our industrial park is somewhat blighted, so tearing that down. The future footprint, if you can see the picture there, that's just a concept. That's not exactly what it will look like, but I have talked to the designers, the engineers who are designing it, as well as the planners for the agricultural retailer. And anyway, that future footprint for the industrial facility will be a similar type building to that, although it may not look exactly like that. Those two businesses together will eventually create approximately 100 jobs in the city of Columbiana, so that's great news. Okay, so I think everything in Columbiana is moving the way it should be. I think the state of the city is strong. We look forward to your inputs, your concerns. You can put those on the website. You can send me an email directly, and we can talk about them here at this monthly video. So I think things are heading in the right direction. Keep your cards and letters coming in, and I'll see you next month.